Okay, I'm really pleased with how this is turning out. So I've got myself a grid of 50 by 50. I don't know if that's the right size, but yeah, I'll decide later, right? So what I've done here is I've set up a system where when garbage gets tipped over, boom, I'll ignore the points that appear. I'm going to turn that off later. You'll see that this grid gets changed color, and it'll change color based on whether or not there's garbage in that cell. The yellow is where garbage used to be, but it is no longer. And so it'll kind of create a trail. So let me just kind of push some garbage around here. I'm going to try and make my pile as big as possible. And so let's just see if I can, if I push some of these things around. See, oh good, I got a bottle. Did you see how that bottle got stuck to me and then it, what else can I do? I just want to make a big mess. Because that is the point of the game, right? Can I push this bin more? But yeah, you can see I'm just making the area bigger and bigger and bigger. And let me just shove that. I'll use the can't. There you go. See that? I'm making that trail. So I can make a pretty big mess right here. And what is happening is you'll see the score is going up right here. See that? It's getting higher and higher the more I spread it out. And so that's kind of what I think the new scoring system is going to be based on. Let me show you how I did it. I created a, oh, I never did use this trash cell thing. I was trying to do a trash cell 2D array. Let's just delete that because that's not helpful after all. For whatever reason, I just couldn't make that work. I don't get it. I think it's something to do with the way it's initialized. Instead, now I just have three 2D arrays. I have a has trash, a had trash, and also just a color. And that's just for the debugging. I actually don't need this part right here. So what's happening is when it's going to go through, it's going to check to see, is that cell occupied? It's going to check cell XZ. And here, it's going to do an overlock box. Is there a trash in there? Is that trash one that has exited the bin? Where is that? Yeah, trash item has exited bin. If so, true. It'll return true. Otherwise, it's going to return false. And so coming back up here, if it returns true, then great. So the cell is currently occupied. If this has trash and had trash were both previously labeled as being false, as in it doesn't have trash and it hasn't had trash, then it's going to add a score. I'm just doing temp score just because I got to do more work. I'll switch it to this one right here later. So it's going to add to the player's master score. And then it's going to switch these values to true. It's going to change the color to green. Otherwise, if it says it has trash, but it doesn't, because else currently occupied, if it says it has trash, then that means then it must have once upon a time had trash. Therefore, we're going to change that to false, and I'm going to deduct the score. And I'm just going to deduct by half is what I kind of figure. I don't know if that's worth it. So right now it's like at 10. So for each unit of that grid that there is garbage, you get 10 points. And if it was occupied, you'll still get 5 points. And my thinking was, my rationale behind that is rather than trying to write a thing where it fills in this whole area, like where there is no garbage, but I feel like it's kind of adding to the spread. I don't know if I just explained myself very well, but I feel like I don't think I ever see the trash score go down. Oh, did I just now? Oh, yeah. See, now the score's going down. I see. So you know what? I should never let it go lower than its high score. I think that's maybe what I should do. But then again, I don't know. Maybe I'm... Oh, did I just see one fall through the ground? I hate it when that happens. Yeah, see, the score's just gone lower. And I suppose that's just because I'm tidying up. Yeah, I'm undecided on that. Anyway, this is the progress I've made so far today. And yeah, look at that. The score's down to 34. So, oh, I get it. That's because I keep subtracting 5 each time. Yeah, so I definitely have to rethink that. Hey, a few hours later now, I figured it out. I should be measuring the perimeter of the garbage, not the area. I think that works nicer. I got the inspiration from here, from my daughter's homework. She had to design her dream room, and of course she's obsessed with cats, so she did a cat room. See, look, it's got a cat tower. It's got a place for humans. It's got a king size bed for cats. It's even got a litter box. Yeah. So anyway, pretty sweet room for a cat, wouldn't you say? So I took inspiration from this with the box and the cubes and everything, and I decided let's figure out what the perimeter is. So let me show you how I did that. So I've added a new field. This time it's an integer, a 2D array of integers, and it is perimeter. Perimeter. I'm going to call that perimeter value. Yeah, or score? Yeah, perimeter score. Perimeter score. That's what I'm going to call it. Here we have this bit right here that you saw before, only now it's still doing the check to see if a cell is occupied, but I'm no longer adding the score, as you may notice. Instead, the scoring happens when it checks if it is a perimeter. So let's jump down to what it does right there. First of all, if the cell that's being checked has trash or had trash, I don't care. It's just going to be 0 because it's not a perimeter. And therefore we'll move on. And it's going to count how many cells around the current cell has got trash or had trash in it. And I borrowed a little bit of code here actually from Sebastian League, who's one of my favorite tutorialists on YouTube for Unity. And he did this little bit of code right here in his procedural cave generation thing. And I suddenly remembered, oh, he did a thing where he had to check for walls. And so I kind of borrowed this bit of code right here. So you'll see it's kind of familiar. And what it does is it checks to see if any of the surrounding cells has or had trash. Now, if it has or had trash, it says yes, so the surrounding count goes up. But if it presently has trash, I added this little bool right here of it currently has trash. Why? Well, down here, if the surrounding count is greater than 0, but less than 8, because I figure if it's got 8 all the way around, that means the perimeter is totally surrounded, in which case I don't want it to count. So that's why I did less than, not less than, and equal to 8. So that's fine. So what it'll do is if it meets those parameters, then it's going to take the score per unit, which as I mentioned before is 10. So it's going to do a quarter of that. So it's going to give a 2. If it has the trash, then it's going to do the full score of 10. I mean, I suppose I could have done it the other way around where it multiplies by 4, but whatever. And then it's just going to return that value. So it's going to return it back up to here. So it's going to add up the results to the current perimeter. And if the current perimeter is greater than the perimeter max, the highest it's ever been, so that way it'll never go lower, then it's going to return the current perimeter. And there you go. So let me show you how it works. Oh, one other thing, just because I added, so yeah, it'll go blue if it's a perimeter. I also added some handles so we can see the scoring. So when I press play, you can see that the grid has a bunch of zeros on it. So now when I knock over the, oh, my controller's dead. I have to use the keyboard. So when I knock over the bin, boom, as you can see, it has now changed the numbers there. So let's zoom in a little bit. So it's all zeros in the middle. You'll see that most of these are 10, but a few of them are only two points because they are not surrounding any of the cells that are there. So as you can see, it's growing my score. So I've got the perimeter max, that's going to be the score. And so I'm going to be adding that to the player score. So that's what I've done. I've gone and made it bigger. It'll never go smaller. I think that this is a pretty satisfying way to score. So for that bin, you got about 1,000 points. And I don't know, does that seem good to you? Should I lower it, higher? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, I'm going to end my vlog here from today. 27 days to go. Wish me luck. Now, I'm going to go eat something.